Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Middle Manager Tonegawa Episode 5. I want to talk about this for a moment. So, apparently I've been hearing, some things that, okay, let me give some backstory first. So I'm a part of different, groups and whatnot on, Facebook and all. A lot of them either based around anime or discusses anime, you know? And I have been posting, thoughts on various things and whatnot, regarding this anime season. And I also frequent many videos on YouTube. And I had been watching stuff regarding, again, this anime season. And this has happened on both platforms. But I'll mention the YouTube one specifically here. So I was watching a video by Giguk. Giguk is a anime-based YouTuber who does all of these awesome videos, analyzing anime, analyzing how anime connects to our lives, stuff like that. But one of his more popular series of videos is the In a Nutshell series, in which he takes the anime of a certain season of anime, of a certain anime season, in this case, the summer 2018 season, and he basically goes over, his thoughts in a comical way of all of the standout anime of the season. Usually he tries to give more focus to the ones that are newer, that just started airing, instead of ones that are carried over from a previous season. But he will mention those ones as well. Either way, so he did his summer 2018 anime in a nutshell video, and it was great. But I noticed Middle Manager Tonegawa was not even mentioned in it. Not even in passing. So I just simply left a comment saying, what about Middle Manager Tonegawa? Basically, I wasn't being rude, I wasn't being, disrespectful or anything. I was just asking a simple question. What about that? That wasn't mentioned at all. Now, I know it is a prequel / spin-off of Kaiji Ultimate Survivor, so if Giguk or whoever else may not have seen that, I can understand how they wouldn't be watching this. But Giguk is one person I think would have seen it. Along with other anime YouTubers like GR Arcada. I know, Chibi Reviews hasn't seen it, because he straight up said so when he was going over the list of the summer 2018 season, back when he was deciding what he was and wasn't going to watch. Either way, apparently someone responded to me, and I've had this kind of thing said on Facebook as well, but someone responded to me, saying, isn't that the show that everybody hates? And that confused the hell out of me, because it's I've heard almost nothing up until that point except positive thoughts on the series. Not just from you guys, of course, but just floating around wherever I've seen people posting about Middle Manager Tonegawa, it's always been positive. It's always been talking about how it captures and keeps the spirit of the original Kaiji series alive, and how it's just doing excellently with its comedy, its characters, and all of that. But after I heard about this, that apparently so many people are disliking it, I had to look things up, and I'm seeing that, yeah, there are a lot of people who apparently hate this series. But for some of the dumbest reasons, in my opinion. For example, one of the more common things I saw is, it takes, half of the first episode recapping Kaiji. It's yes, this is a spin-off / prequel of Kaiji. The first episode should do that. I mean, maybe they could have cut it back a little bit, but honestly, I think it was handled fine. I think that they did it as well as they needed to for the type of series that Kaiji and now its spin-off is. I've heard people complaining like about the fact that Tonegawa's voice actor is different. And he is. There is a different voice actor for Tonegawa than in the Kaiji series. Um, that's not a reason to complain about a series. That's not, in my opinion, a reason to give it a series a strike against it. Um, Multiple shows have had characters where the voice actor has switched in between different versions of the show. Full Metal Alchemist is a good example of that. Alphonse Elric, the younger brother in the suit of armor, he has a different voice actor in the original Full Metal Alchemist than in Brotherhood. And that's just how it ended up going. I don't remember the name of the voice actor in the original, but I think it was Aaron Dimskay in Brotherhood. Or no, I think Aaron Dimskay was in the original and Maxie Whitehead was in Brotherhood. Yeah, I think that's it. Either that or it was the opposite. Either way, the point still stands that I really don't feel these kinds of things are like legitimate issues with the show. It's like, here's the thing, if you find those as issues with the show and if that hurts your enjoyment, fine. Like, I'm not gonna like say that you don't have a right to not enjoy it because I don't agree with those issues. No, I would never say that. But what I'm saying is that I don't see those as legitimate issues with the show rather than just personal complaints. Those are more like your personal problems with certain aspects of it, rather than an actual issue that the show has. But people are painting it as the opposite. And on top of that, people are trying to act like this show is so terrible, like it has bad writing, the comedy's bad. It's like, I've heard some people saying the dumbest thing, that, oh, unless you're rich, you're not going to understand this comedy. It's like, that is so untrue. I'm pretty much poor. Like, we're at the very bottom, the lowest of lower middle class. Like, my father can't even afford to pay for food right now. He basically has to choose between bills and food at the moment, and he's choosing bills. And I'm not even going to get into the entire thing about how he refuses to ask for help from anyone to get, like, food or whatnot. That's not the point. I'm not going to open that can of worms. Either way, it's like, we're very poor. I get the jokes. The jokes aren't made for an exclusively rich audience. They're not even made for an audience who has been necessarily in, like, well-off monetary standing. They're just jokes. Anyone can get them. If you can't get them, then that's you. That's not just because you're not rich or whatnot. It has nothing to do with, like, the joke being made for rich people or something. Just because you personally don't get it. They're just simple jokes. I've heard jokes that are a lot less understandable from a lot more common comedians. Ones who are a lot more praised. And here's the thing, in the long run, because I don't want to waste too much more time. We're almost at 10 minutes, according to recording timer. It's just after 9 minutes on there. Don't want to waste too much more time for these pre-thoughts. The point is that I'm not even saying this all just because I do love this show so far, but because the only actual like complaints I see against this series, in my opinion, don't hold any water as complaints against the series. They're more so just personal issues with how you watch. And mind you, those are completely valid. If you feel those kinds of things and if your enjoyment is hurt by those kind of things, fine, fine. But don't try to say that it's a problem with the show, because it's not. It's not the show that has the issues here. And I'm not saying it's you who has the issues, but you know what I mean. It's a completely separate factor here. If you're going to dislike a show, dislike it for legitimate reasons. Like for the show doing something that's either too cliche, being poorly written, having poorly written characters, stuff like that. Heck, even like poor animation or voice acting, which I'm usually one who defends that those can both be used for great anime. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, for example. Well, okay, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure doesn't have bad animation. That's more art style. And the voice acting is purposefully over the top. But that's, again, the kind of the point. So, yeah. You get what I'm trying to say here, I hope. I hadn't heard of anyone bad talking this show until that was said to me on YouTube here, in the comments on Giguk's video. And then all of a sudden, I look it up, and apparently people are talking bad about this show, but for stupid reasons. It's like, they don't get the comedy, so that must mean the show is bad. It's like, I really hate that kind of mindset. It's like, oh, I don't like it. That means the show itself is bad. I don't think it's funny. That means it's bad. That means it fails as a comedy show because I don't think it's funny. That's not how it works. That just means you personally don't like it, which, again, is fine. I don't know. I'm just at this point where it bothers me when people give those kinds of excuses. Like, when I say I don't like a show like Gurren Lagann, or, well, actually, I kind of like Gurren Lagann, so I'm not going to use that, but, okay, Code Geass. I don't like Code Geass because I think all of the characters are unlikable, that there's pretty much not a single likable character in the show. I believe that the story is poorly written, and is just basically super pretentious about everything. I believe that it's really kind of more generic than a lot of people will admit to. See, these are things that are actually regarding how the show is made and what it entails. It's not just like, oh, and it's not like just like, oh, this is just because of how I feel. And it is an opinion. There's no such thing as a show being objectively good or bad. Some people will try to say otherwise, but hear me out. There is no such thing. Because for something to be objectively good or bad, it means that everyone would have to agree with it. That it would have to just be a known fact. Basically something like the blue appears, or the blue, wow, I got that mixed up. The sky appears blue to our eyes. That is a fact. And, of course, that's not to everyone, because there are exceptions to that, but for the majority of people, the sky does appear blue to our eyes. That's just a fact. And I say it, I word it that way, by the way, because it's not actually blue, it's just because of light refraction and all. Either way, not the point. That would be a fact. Saying, oh, this show is poorly written, that's an opinion. Because someone else might think it's amazingly written. And if someone else can legitimately think that, with no sense of irony or sarcasm, then then either option can't be true, because someone else legitimately sees the other side. Therefore, it has to be viewed as subjective. All media is like this. Animation, live action, shows, movies, music, every kind of media is like that. If someone can dislike something that most other people like, if someone can like something that most other people dislike, If there is not a true consensus, if it is not seen as a fact, then it can't be it can't be seen as objective truth. I mean, that's just how it works. But again, I need to really move on because we're 15 minutes according to the recording timer now, and it's like, geez. I'm sorry for this long-winded rant. I just wanted to get this out of my system, and I mean, where else would I talk about this? We have another episode of Middle Manager Tonegawa. I don't know what's going to happen in it, but we have decided on our game as of now. I have decided on the rock paper scissors card game. So let's see where it goes from there. So when the screen... No, hold on. I almost skipped ahead. Pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in... Oh, my, excuse me. After it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so hey, look at that. It's before noon still, technically, 2 minutes till, and I already finished a reaction. I mean, I'm still doing the afterthoughts, but still, that's really something for me. So, Middle Manager Tonegawa, Episode 5. I'd say this episode wasn't as funny as some of the others, but it was still good. It definitely progressed the plot, and it was interesting. The ending was the funniest part for sure. So the first half of this episode, well, heck, I'd say the first 3/4 of the episode even, was centering around Tonegawa trying to turn in the proposal for restricted rock, paper, scissors to President Hyoudo. However, he doesn't want to turn it in when President Hyoudo might be upset, might be angry, or just irritated, because he could end up doing something rash and like throwing the proposal away or just rejecting it on a whim. So he wants to wait for like the perfect moment, one of those rare moments when Hyoudo's actually in a good mood. And apparently the closest option, the best option for that, is right after he comes out of the bath. However, that ends up failing. It ends up failing because apparently Hyoudo has decided that it's about time to start wearing a face mask to help with his complexion and all. And as such, Tonegawa couldn't see his eyebrows to check on his mood, because apparently that's how you do it with him. And the problem was that Hyoudo was going to go on vacation to Hawaii for 10 days, while Tonegawa had to get his project turned in within 5. So there was some trouble. So he decided to go to Hawaii with Hyoudo. He decided to head there along with him and ask him when he seemed to be in the best mood. Tonegawa even checked his eyebrows and made sure the mood was right, and it seemed to have worked. We didn't actually see the conversation go down, which I'm a little disappointed by. I would have liked to see that, would have liked to see how Hyoudo reacted to the proposal. But the point is, we know it worked, and yeah, Tonegawa came back, he talked to the Men in Black, they had a party to celebrate. Unfortunately, that's where we get into the last fourth of this episode. You see, the party was like a great idea, but they went bowling afterwards, and even after Tonegawa left, the Men in Black were just like in such a good mood, having so much fun, that they decided to continue going and completely lost track of time. Before they knew it, it was the morning, and they were late. Tonegawa has a pretty seemingly strict tardiness policy, so he was upset, told them don't even bother coming in. So instead, they are like, oh no, we're just going to shave our heads to try and make up for it. Which gets into where the funniest part of this episode comes in. The fact that Tonegawa can no longer tell them apart. He was actually using their hairstyles to differentiate them, and that's phenomenally hilarious. Because we had thought up to this point that he just had gotten their names and faces down, but in reality, he was actually looking at their hairstyles. That's great. And it's funny the way it's handled because, yeah, they kind of do all look alike. And, I mean, this has been a thing, again, I've mentioned this before, since the original Kaiji. And they were made to look alike. But in this series, which is a comedic spin-off, they point that out. They point out that, like, just design choice and make fun of it. They roll with it. And it comes across as, like, oh, yeah, we did make all these guys look so much alike, so we had to find a way of differentiating them. And then it's like a few episodes later, it's like, we're just going to throw that out the window. And make it so you really can't differentiate them anymore. Seriously, though, they should just wear name tags. Like, just have these name tag stickers or pinback buttons or something they put on their jackets. That's all they would need. Seriously. Why don't they just do that? I mean, and they only have to wear it for, like, these meetings and stuff. It's not like they would have to wear them all the time. I don't know. But yeah, so now Tonegawa has to learn all of their names again and whatnot, has to figure out some other way to identify them. But the fact is that they have progressed in what they had to do. They got the proposal accepted, and so now their goal is to get going on that, to start working on the restricted rock, paper, scissors game. Now, I don't know if they have the ship Espoir at this point, or if that's something that's part of this next step that they're going to have to get for the death game. We're going to have to see. I am interested to find out exactly how that comes to be and how everything happens. I believe in Kaiji, it kind of hinted that the restricted rock, paper, scissors that Kaiji was a part of wasn't the first time they'd done it. Because I think there were people there who had been there before, who were like veterans at that game and who knew how to handle everything because of it. I swear that was actually a notable plot point. Which means that obviously Kaiji's, if Kaiji's thing isn't the first one, the first one, for all we know, might not even be held on the ship, or if it is, it might not be as intricate and in-depth as it was for Kaiji's, the game that Kaiji was in. It's not, I can't really call it Kaiji's game, you know. I am really excited to continue this on, though. This show just keeps proving to be so great. Seriously, one of the ones I just really look forward to these days. So yeah, I don't understand, going back to what I said in my pre-thoughts, where some of those people are coming with their thoughts on the show, and with not liking it. Again, they're perfectly entitled to those opinions, doesn't mean I have to, like, understand them. Either way, tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of Middle Manager Tonegawa. And thank you so much for tuning in. So, for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles, shed tears along the way, you're still standing, live, love, laugh.